friends! So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wasn't feeling very well when I woke up this day, so I did it more of a follow along as I garden style. So what you're seeing now is a massive load of plants that I have accumulated over the course of several months. Full transparency here, I am so behind on my planting. So I woke up this day not feeling great, but I still had some energy to plant, and I thought I would just set the camera up while I planted and got as much planted as I could. My husband was with the kids, and so I just kind of hunkered down and made it a mass planting day. So what you're seeing are a different assortment of perennials, annuals, shrubs, ground covers, all sorts of things that I have just accumulated because, as you know, plant lovers, we go to the garden center and we pick things up. Some of these I have ordered, like these roses that you're seeing right now. These are from Heirloom Roses, and 3 of these are going in my rose garden that is specifically for cutting, and then the other 2 are going out in my front garden. There's 2 more roses I have here in my cart, and also a clematis and some hostas, some peony tubers. So a lot that I want to get planted in the ground. I definitely had bigger ambitions than I actually had energy or time for. So I decided to start here in the backyard. This bed is kind of a part sun bed. For the most part, it only gets morning sun. So here I'm planting some alpino, I believe it is, saxifrage. And this is one from Monrovia. It is a really sweet little pink flower that just kind of fades from a bright pink to a lighter pink, and is just a really good kind of part sun little ground cover. So what you're seeing me do here is I'm just auging my holes. After planting those first 3 plants, I realized it would be much faster if I just went ahead and auged all of my holes, then threw in some starter fertilizer, and then went back and planted them. So right here, I'm just using I believe it's my 5-inch power planter auger, which has been such a game changer, especially with our compact, really hard clay soil. I can't imagine digging in this soil up here. Wasn't quite the same problem down in our sandy soil in North Carolina. So what I'm planting here is a mixture of different hellebores and some lungwort, specifically the Proven Winners pink blue lungwort, which I was so excited to get my hands on. I first saw it on Laura with Garden Answers channel, and how she spoke about its performance and its blooms just sold me on it. So I was able to find 3 of these at Johnson Nursery, which is an awesome nursery outside Wilmington, North Carolina. If you live anywhere in the Southeast North Carolina vicinity, it is worth visiting. I'm also putting in some heuchera, which are the Proven Winners wildberry variety, and they are just like a true kind of deep grape color. They're so pretty and provide such nice contrast. They even have like a little bit of an iridescence to the leaves. Just a really awesome contrast with all the green. I also have a few hostas that I'm planting in this garden. All right, so over here by my little bird bath fountain, I'm planting some blue flag iris, which is a native Virginia. There was actually 3 plants in this 1-gallon container, so what you're seeing me do is just kind of slice them up and divide them. And I decided to put all 3 of these around the base of the fountain because they can really handle boggy, wet situations. And you know, as there's splatter and splash and overfill from the fountain, the blue flag iris will just totally love it. This area is just kind of off to the left from where I was just working with the bird bath fountain, and eventually kind of on the right between where you see the tree branches in the foreground and that arborvitae on the right side of the screen will be a hedge of something. We're not totally sure. We're thinking probably some sort of arborvitaes. And that's going to be at the end of our deck. And it's going to kind of create like a channel so that when our dogs are running off the deck, they can't get to the area behind the camera. They can only go forward into the dog run. It'll make more sense in the long run, but I hope I explained that okay for you. So here I am just planting a lemon thread false cypress which says it's going to get about 3 to 5 feet. I don't know if I believe that. I feel like I have seen them much bigger out and around my area. So I'm anticipating this to get fairly large, but we'll see. So it has plenty of room to get big here. I just really love the bright yellow chartreuse foliage. I think it'll be a really nice accent here. So here I'm showing you, I got the fountain set up. I am not sure what happened and how I did not capture it on video, but I finally got the fountain hooked up. Much simpler than I thought and quite an easy setup. All the instructions and pump parts came with it, so it was really easy, but I'm very excited. It's such a sweet little bird bath, and it is, I believe, called the Hydrangea Leaf Bird Bath Fountain by Campania International. So now I am kind of out away from that back garden, further out in our property, and where I'm planting, that little ring around the tree will eventually be incorporated into that entire bed behind me towards the playset area, and then all the way back towards the woods. So that bed is going to be expanded to be much larger. That is on our to-do list for this year. And we are calling that our children's garden because my kids have started to show such an interest in gardening. It's been so fun for me because they'll see plants that they like and they want to buy them and take care of them. So we created this little area that we're just calling the children's garden, and they can plant all the plants, all the flowers that they love, and they have a spot for them to be able to see them while they're on the playset, and also a specific spot that they can take care of them. So if you have watched any of Erin from the Impatient Gardeners videos, I'm sure you've seen that she plants lots of clematis under trees and has them grow up through trees. And it's such a magical, kind of whimsical effect. And I thought that would just be really pretty here in the children's garden. All right, moving on over to the raised bed garden area. Outside the raised bed garden, I am going to put a lot of my plants and flowers that I'm going to be using for cutting. So here I am auging some holes for some iris. My mom, last time I was in Wilmington, gave me a bunch of her irises that she had dug up and divided. And some of them are mystery colors. I believe there's a light purple, a brown iris, and a couple others. I'm not sure. So it'll be a fun surprise, but I decided to plant them on either side of the fence. And you know what I found really interesting is she dug these up and gave me a lot of her native soil. And when I pulled them out of the bag, it smelled like Wilmington. And if you are from anywhere along the coast and you know that kind of marshy, mucky, salty smell, it is so distinct. And it's funny to me just how strong that these smelled, even though she herself does not live right on the water. It's just in the whole soil around that area. So just a funny little thing that I noticed. I love having things like this from friends and family just to have in my garden to remember them by. And I think most of us enjoy that. I love the idea of adding free plants to my garden, but it's also nice to look at it and be like, oh yeah, that came from so-and-so. I'm really looking forward to the day that my garden is mature and I have enough perennials and bulbs to divide and share with friends, because right now it is a very young garden and I am severely lacking in the ability to share with others. I believe I haven't shown you that I did get the Weeping Blue Atlas cedars planted on my arbors. You can see on either side they are planted there. I haven't yet tied them up to get them to start climbing up over the arbor, but I'm really excited for how this is going to look in the long run. It's going to take many years, but I think it'll be a beautiful feature. These beds around the raised bed garden will not look like this for long. I decided it was more important to get plants in the ground. So normally I would have gone ahead and created the beds. I would have put my cardboard down and put some mulch on top, edged the beds, made everything look nice and tidy before I started planting. But at this point in the game, I'm just kind of so short on time that I thought it was more important to start getting my plants and seedlings and things in the ground. So we will come back and I will show you soon in a video. We're going to put down some cardboard, which is my typical method for adding and creating new beds. put some cardboard down, throw some compost and mulch on top of that. And it usually works really well to suppress weeds and just establish your garden beds. So I will be doing that soon, and it won't look quite so uh, quite so messy. So it's about this point that I am really just losing my steam and ready to call it for a day. So I quickly wrap up after this. All right, so I am all finished. I ended up calling it, and my husband came home and so kindly decided to go ahead and mulch for me, which we use a compost blend. I believe it's like 50% compost and then 50% undyed hardwood mulch. Over here, I ended up planting a couple hostas and these columbine. And this is one of my Japanese maples. It's one of my favorites. I'll put the name on the screen. So here are just some leftover tulips that are still on their way to dying back. The fountain is just, it's so peaceful, and we're already really enjoying the sound of it. I can't wait till our deck is built and we can sit on the deck and enjoy the sound. Behind the fountain are some Feather Falls carex and an Illuminati Towers mock orange from Proven Winners. In the bigger bed, it has the hellebores, the heuchera, the lungwort. There are a few peonies in here, some hostas, and then those three shrubs that you're seeing in the back, the three woody shrubs, those are hydrangeas, and those are the firelight hydrangeas from Proven Winners. Ooh, this hellebore in particular is special to me because it was given to me by my mother-in-law. Here is one of my peonies that is just about to burst into bloom. I cannot wait. So this garden bed is very young. It's such a joy to be able to garden and to create from scratch, but at the same time, it's so hard to be patient because mature gardens take time. And there's nothing that beats the look of a mature garden when everything is just thick and lush. So I'm looking forward to that day. But in the meantime, I'm going to just be happy that I get to do all of this and get to plant these things and create these gardens. But I really appreciate you joining me on this kind of non-traditional gardening day. I needed to get a lot done in a short amount of time. So this was the quickest and easiest way for me to accomplish that and take you along for it. I really appreciate you watching, and thanks for gardening with me today.